Hi, good morning. Maria back with another video. It is 11:05 a.m. and it is June 10th. It is Wednesday morning, and I believe it's Wednesday morning. Like I said, it's very hard to keep track of time when your every day is pretty much the same. So I just kind of want to do this update video and kind of clarify some things before I get on with the rest of my day. So, as we all know, I have been making videos for 5 years. And, during the course of my video making, there was a lot of confusion because I knew that I was being targeted and it took a long time for me to kind of put the pieces together. So then I put the pieces together. And so I made some videos expressing my frustration and kind of addressed some of the people that were involved in my targeting. And so I want to make this very clear because, I think some people think that because I address these people, is that I'm somebody who wants to keep a war going. I don't want a war going. That's not my intention. I think it's a normal reaction to understanding that some people were working against you and people were creating abusive environments, hostile environments at your expense. Okay, that you're going to have this reaction. As I mentioned before, a lot of the issues where people go postal are basically made from these issues. Like they're dealing with a bunch of injustices. They're dealing with a lot of harassment, covert type of power plays that are being put on, and that they're being affected by. And so, out of frustration, some people just lose it and they go off on people. That is never something I would do or recommend. Okay, but I will tell you the kind of pressure that it creates for a person, the kind of frustration that it creates for a person. It's understandable. Okay, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying is, especially when you're in a situation where you're trying to get justice for yourself and it's a constant battle to deal with a frustrating situation that nobody should have to live under. And so, once I made these issues and I addressed these issues and I stated my feelings about it, which I put in a very good case. Okay, I talked about the laws, I talked about the religious aspect of it. We already talked about all of that for such a long period of time. And so you understand that this issue was maybe not intended to become a bullying issue, but that's exactly what it ended up becoming. And, still to this day, I tend to encounter bullying people, whether that be through fake job interviews or whatever. And I would prefer to just put the issue to rest because it was emotionally taxing on me, it was financially taxing on me, and it was unjustified. You know, my issues when it comes to making videos in the future, I have like rough drafts on two, actually three videos. I have one on understanding human trafficking and how forced marriages play with this. And this is not, I'm not bringing up anyone's names, but this is beneficial for people who don't recognize the signs, because oftentimes there's people who are victims of human trafficking who are living next door to you. They might be working with you, and these people are in desperate need of help because they are being abused in some way, whether there's somebody who is acting on their behalf and taking away their rights and speaking for them, making life decisions for them that are damaging to them. Like, for example, um, you know, I was grateful to have jobs, okay? Even though they were in situations and environments that I wasn't really happy with, the fact was that, you know, if you have to take a job that is lower than your skill level, sometimes that happens. That's just life, okay? I understand that. And I was willing to do that on my own, okay? But when you walk into an environment where that is hostile to you because of it was deliberately meant to be that way, I will tell you that obviously you're going to react to it, right? So that's my main issue, okay? That is my biggest issue. And so these videos that I want to put out are to help understand human trafficking. Okay. And I don't want to point out names or people or talk about them anymore. And I'm doing all kinds of mental exercises to forget. There's days where I have decent days to where I'm not thinking about the people. And then I noticed in the last week or so that I have reoccurring dreams. They're not necessarily the same, but they are bringing up these issues. Like I had a dream that involved my entire ex family. Okay. Even my dad's deceased, but he even appeared in the dream. Okay. Then I had dreams about this girl that I met many years ago that I worked with, and what does all these dreams mean? I don't believe they're prophetic in nature, but I believe that this is an issue that affected me for a very long time. And oftentimes when we have dreams, yes, there are such things as prophetic dreams, okay? Even the Bible talks about that. But there's also dreams where we experience like forms of trauma in our waking day, or things that affect us mentally or whatever, that cause mental distress or whatever. And so during the daytime, we either occupy ourselves with maybe our hobbies or cleaning the house or going to work or whatever. So we put these things on the back burner. We don't want to think about it right then. But when you go to sleep, things start to regurgitate, right? And so I can tell that this has been a very taxing thing for me. So when I deal with people who want to waste my time, after I dealt with something that was very traumatic. And I think some people minimize this issue. They might think, well, it was such a small thing. It wasn't a small thing. This was a 20 something year. I mean, like I said, this sort of abuse has been going on since I was a kid, okay? But when it comes to my working life, this has been going on. These little abuses and these little power plays and games that would be put on in my workplace, okay, have been going on for over 20 years. Okay. And then when it starts to reveal why these things were going on and then who put these things in place, and you come to understand that the people that you were having dinner with, the people that you were talking with, the people that you loved, okay, were behind your financial disaster, were behind everything, that all the negative things you experience. It's something that you will never be able to understand unless, of course, you deal with it yourself. Okay. So it's not just an issue of somebody picking on me because, I'm a girly girl or something like that. It's not that. It's the issue that would come into my workplace and create, arguments and fights and things like this when it really shouldn't have been that way. Like if I wasn't in that family, I would have had a normal life. I would have had a better opportunity at life, And it's unfortunate, okay? And I'm not trying to bring this up or we need to create a problem, but I'm just saying is like that is it's an emotional shock to a person, okay? So much so that, like I said, I went out and sought someone to talk to. Like I actually talked to a counselor and a therapist about it, okay? Because it was so shocking to me. It was shocking to me. And so when you deal with people who want to make light of the situation, of a very traumatizing, it is a traumatizing situation. It's not traumatizing because they were picking on me because they didn't like my clothes. Okay, like I told you, when it comes to work, I know how to dress. I know how to present myself. It's not that issue. So people think, well, you're making such a big deal out of a small issue. It's not an issue. It's an issue of somebody who went so far to feel compelled to try to control and dominate every aspect of your life, to where they even try to force you to stay married and all these other sort of things. All of that, okay, and then creating issues, and to where they eliminate any possibility of having any sort of relationship. And when I'm talking about relationships, I'm talking about regular friendships. Like, because, they kind of infiltrated my space, okay? And so you're always wondering, are the people that you encounter, the people you're talking to, are they associated with these people? Are they going to harm me? Okay? Because gang stalking is a very serious issue. And for people who minimize it, they don't fully understand how devastating it is, because it destroys relationships currently. And it destroys future relationships as well, because you will never be able to trust another person again. That's reality, okay? So oftentimes when you're dealing with group mentality, because these people were associated with my ex-family or whatever, they want to take sides. And even though they know that this was a bad issue, it's the fact that some people like to fight. They like to create tension. They like to, and they want it to keep going because it's been going on for such a long time. And then it's like, well, they want to continue the argument. I don't want to continue the argument. Okay. What I want to do is I just want to heal. I want to heal. I want to, and that's what I've been trying to do. Just get over it, But I will tell you, like I said, my dreams, when you have dreams, nightmares, or just strange dreams that where all these people that abused you are appearing in your dreams, you're not completely over it. Okay, you're not completely over it. So what I'm trying to do is stay busy. Okay, I'm trying to stay busy. Um, so I look for work, and it's hard. Okay, because like I said, there's still those weirdos out there who, it's not a funny situation to take advantage of a person who is in this situation. It just doesn't. But you'll still deal with these sort of people. I don't know, if jobs are fake or if they're not or whatever. All I can do is do my best and hope that people are honest and whatever. And I don't really care what kind of work I'm doing. I mean, obviously, I want to do a job that I want to do work in a job that I can do a good job because there's no point in me getting into something that I'm gonna flub up or whatever. I want to do something that is within my skill level, but it doesn't necessarily have to be accounting. But I just apply to jobs that I feel if I have a skill, I'm going to do it. And I don't appreciate the fake job interviews. Why? Because I feel it's a violation to me. It's like, if you have no intention of hiring a person, why would you do it? It doesn't make sense to me. So it's a form of abuse. It is. I mean, it really is. And it's sad because I don't like to think that the employment sector is filled. In my mind, it sends a message like it's just filled with abuse of people. Because I dealt with this, and this, and this, and obviously anybody with half a brain can see that I had nothing to do with this, and that to keep doing it, it just it's a constant reinforcement of the trauma. So it's like there's sick people out there. There are very sick people out there. Um, as far as the current issues are concerned, that the whole COVID-19 thing and the protests that are going on, I'm not somebody who gets involved with anything political. Okay, but I'm certainly an observer of it. And so I'm just kind of sitting back and trying to figure out how all of this is going to pan out. It's bad. It's not very good right now. I think everyone can pretty much agree that 2020 is a pretty shitty year. It's not a good year right now. And so we're just kind of everyone's just kind of waiting out to see what's going to happen. So, no, I'm not somebody who wants to create fights. I'm somebody who is very weary of all the garbage that goes on in the world, but I personally do accept the fact that Earth is basically hell in itself. Not Earth, but like the attitude, the worldly views, and the manners that people adapted. We live in a very hostile world. It is hell here. It is. And it's not that I accept it like, well, I just try not to contribute to it. Like, I don't want to be a part of that sort of hostile environment. I don't want to be an abusive person. Even though this sort of behavior is quite sorry, I just heard one of my appliances click off. Even though it's very common for people to take on this sort of attitude, or people who kind of like adhere to group mentality or herd mentality, or people who do a lot of thoughtless acts that are criminal, actually, and they don't think about it. I want to have a higher standard. Like, I don't want to lower my standards to live like that. because I know right from wrong. You know what I mean? And some people don't. They just get caught up in the frenzy of, whatever. I think there's people like the rumors, they like the gossip. I don't, I want to be noted for somebody who avoids that. Like, I don't ever want to be somebody who contributes to the pain of another person. I think in my past, like I used to think that was normal too. Like when I was a teenager in early 20s, that's what everybody did. So you think it's normal. But once you get to a certain age, I started to realize it's like I want different things for myself. I want a higher standard of living. Okay? I mean, we can talk about peace, we can talk about peace, we can talk about these sort of things all we want to, but if you're somebody as an individual who doesn't live that way yourself, then you really don't have the right to want wars to cease or promote peace. You want peace to be to be to occur on the earth, but you're not peaceful yourself. So I try to be as peaceful as I can. I don't like the thought that there were people in this community that turned against me for something that I had nothing to do with. I can't take responsibility for the intrusion that came into my life. Like, I was here in this community, I was trying to work, I was trying to take care of my child, I was doing what I needed to do, and then I had this outside intrusion come in, and I do take responsibility. Like, I shouldn't have married Joel under those circumstances, and then I don't even know if we were ever really married. Okay, but that's not my fault. Okay, like, I really thought that we were married, and I thought that was his mom. I had no idea. No idea whatsoever. And I think that's an issue that a lot of people, that are not, it's a very rare issue, but a lot of people end up getting in situations like that. Not quite that weird, but they do get into situations like that. And it was very traumatizing once I started realizing what was going on, and so, and I unfortunately was a victim. And I noticed that the herd mentality wanted to make me suffer for something that I didn't do. Like, I had no control over that. I had no idea. Anyway, but I've taken a beating for a very long time for something I had nothing to do with. And it has made me question, people, and their morals. And, I'm not a person who is against people practicing religion if it's of value to them. But this was under the guise of religion, okay? And it would be wonderful for me to see people who truly practice what they preached. That would be a wonderful thing to see, or even have an understanding of what they even believe in. That would be wonderful. Instead of people just taking instructions and thinking that this is getting involved with group mentality and to do things and act in a way that doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? It didn't make sense to me. I was punished as a victim. I'm a victim here. I'm a victim of all kinds of abuses. And, and yet I think that those people saw that, but they were just hungry for power. They were hungry to hurt somebody. And so I understand that this is a predominant behavior on the earth, and it's terrifying. It is very terrifying. I try to live. I'm not perfect. I'm not holier than thou. I don't think that I'm better than everyone, but I do think that I have a little bit more of, how can I say this? I think that I have better manners than a lot of people, only because I understand things like laws and how they affect people, and I understand proper social etiquette, and I do. I try not to get involved with certain things, and I try to look at things objectively and how they relate to the law, and how I respect the rights of other people, and it would be a great world if everyone thought that way, but they don't, My family, my ex-family, has made me a victim of something that I should not have suffered for. I suffered for decades for something that I had no reason to suffer for, and that's my biggest issue. My biggest issue is that. And the other issue is the heartless, evil people that want to waste my time. I don't want to be I don't want my time wasted. You know what I mean? It's like, why would you want to overstimulate somebody or traumatize somebody again? You know what I mean? I don't want to be traumatized again. It is a waste of my time to deal with employers. Employers, to me, should be competent. They should be competent. They should be making best use of their time. If they're going to fill a position, then fill that position. If you don't want to, you're not interested in working with me, then don't call me. Don't call me. I don't want to waste my time or communicate with people that, that think this situation is amusing. It's not amusing. It's traumatizing. It's traumatizing to know, like when I was working over at the farmer's place, and the farmer basically knew that I was a scapegoat. He knew that I was an abused person within a family and referred to me that way. These people know that. Why? What inside of a person? What is it inside of a person that would do something like that? That's twisted. That's very twisted. You see? So when I think of people who do this sort of stuff, you're basically evil to me. You're right alongside all that shit that I don't want to have anything to do with. So it's hard to find, a reputable employer. I mean, I just want to find a job. That's all I want to do. I just want to find a job, and I just don't want to have to deal with trauma. I shouldn't have to deal with, the irresponsible behavior of other people. I'd like to think that my position in the community is one that's peace promoting. Like, I don't create any drama. I did have to stand up. I had to take an active stance on my issue because it was affecting me on so many levels. And I felt as though that was a responsible thing to do. It was something that I really didn't want to do. It's just that it continued to follow me. Like, every time I go to a job, this bullshit would happen. The harassment would go on for the next job and whatever. And once it started to accumulate, then I had to say something. But I can't take responsibility for the behavior of other people. I won't take responsibility for it. I won't apologize for it. I will apologize for what would I apologize for? I would apologize for some things I've already apologized for. Like, I shouldn't have married Joel. I should have never got married, okay? Especially under those circumstances. That was something I shouldn't have done, but I apologize for it. I cannot take responsibility for the behavior or the immature actions of other people. I simply can't do it. I can't take responsibility for the bullying. I can't take responsibility for any of it. So, and I won't take the responsibility for it. I just feel as though my ex-family should have never involved themselves in my life. I think they might have had it in their mind that I could not make it without them. I think I would have been better off without them. I think maybe I should have moved to a different area when I was younger and started off like maybe in Los Angeles. Because like I said, I knew a girl who was a lot like me, who did good in her jobs. And she did work that was similar to mine. And so I would have been successful. And successful doesn't necessarily mean making a shitload of money. Successful means having a job and keeping a long-term job and not having to deal with being mobbed out of your job, you see. So anyway, I would prefer not to think about them anymore. And there's times where I wake up in the night and I literally do shake with like these disturbing thoughts to know that somebody would cause me this much pain. Okay, it is a very serious issue. So, you know, I would appreciate it if people wouldn't make light of something that is basically an abusive situation. You know, and I would question who you are as a person if you think it's okay to do that. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I've got things to do, got some cleaning to do, and just kind of work on some little projects that I got going on here. I'm doing the best I can, you know, and I know there's a lot of targeted individuals out there, and, you know, I'm hoping that that more awareness can be spread about the things that we do and say about other people, and the kind of heartache that it causes for people. Like, you know, what the things that you say and do, and how it can affect another person. Okay, your thoughtless behavior can cause all kinds of trauma and abuses to an individual. And when you call yourself a Christian, somebody who walks in the footsteps of Jesus Christ, you should ask yourself, how does that represent Jesus? How does that even, you know, how does that even show that you're following God? Or how does that fit into your religion? It doesn't. Okay, but it certainly does show that you enjoy bullying people, and so that's my biggest issue. I'm not necessarily referring to my ex-family. I'm just referring to people to question why they do the things that they do. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I've got plenty of things to do. I hope all TIs have a wonderful day and stay strong. Take care. Bye-bye.